in connection with international education efforts on the part of USAID and other government agencies, I must say that I can't help but wonder if we're not really kidding ourselves in connection with the role that America might actually play in connection with these efforts. Indeed, the American public is of the view that we spend an awful lot more of our money than 1% or 5% on foreign assistance. If you ask the average person out there, they'll say, surely about 25% of our national budget goes to foreign assistance. Those of us who care about this arena know that that absolutely is not the case, and that our role in the world needs to increase in intensity. But to presume in places like Pakistan or Afghanistan that we're going to penetrate those cultures at a level to dramatically change their education system could very well be a dream world or a kid's game. The fact is that we have done a horrible job just using domestic money to improve our own education system in this country. One need only spend a few moments looking at the nation's capital education system to know what a miserable failure we've been in connection with that. So, Dr. Shah, my real point is that delivering money to countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan and actually being assured that those dollars are going to flow in the direction that was intended in the first place is kind of fundamental if we really want to help those individual citizens and people in those countries. So I'd very much like to have you help us be more specific regarding the safeguards that are in place to ensure that the money flows go where we intend them to go. And indeed, I'd be interested in your priorities as to how do we improve and strengthen those guarantees.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I particularly appreciate your highlighting that the American public does sometimes believe we spend 25% on foreign assistance when we spend less than 1%. And I'm encouraged by the fact that they also respond to that data when asked how much they think we should spend and say 10%, and believe it represents a reality that the American public are willing to make these investments if they believe they're getting real results. And that brings me to your question.
So if you will, if we could join in the public's concern and suggest we're going to try to push it below that 10%, we might very well create an atmosphere in which everybody thinks we're doing this job.
Sir, I'll leave the political strategy to the honorable members of the committee, and I will do my best to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of this work. With respect to girls' education, especially in Afghanistan and Pakistan, these are places where we have now been working for a number of years at real scale. In Afghanistan, we have more than 7 million kids in school as a result of U.S.-supported programs. We've helped in a spirit of partnership with their ministry develop standards and provide teacher training to improve the quality of education that takes place in those settings. And we get regular reports on both attendance, quality, and the Ministry of Education reforms that we've insisted upon, but that they have worked with us in a spirit of partnership to put in place, so we have standardized protocols for how we do the work. That is critical to maintaining stable Afghan societies, and to go back to General Petraeus, one of the things he has highlighted as necessary to maintain an effective environment and exit strategy for U.S. troops. In Pakistan, the current environment in Pakistan with the devolution of authority to state governments and provincial governments has required us to work more directly with them, and we're pursuing that actively. I want to speak to the point about domestic education, because what we do internationally is quite informed by the learnings and the observations of the education reform movement here in the United States. In fact, the new education strategy that we have proposed implements rigorous testing and outcomes testing, so we understand reading and literacy outcomes at grade level. It sets tougher standards for teacher training, and it puts accountability mechanisms in so families can identify whether teachers are showing up in schools as they say they're going to. All of those things came out of data that is shared between the international and domestic communities on the quality of education outcomes.
Mr. Jackson.